Well, it's the final day of practice here for stop number 3 of the FLW Tour here on Lake Seminole. This event is presented by Costa. I have with me Todd Tucker, who has caught a bass or two out of Seminole before.
I have, yeah.
Now, yesterday, we heard about the differences in Seminole, from, say, years ago, because really all we have to lean on here is Costa Series competition. But then, Hurricane, looking around, you can see trees down. I've heard about grass getting moved around. I guess what I want to know from you, since you've been on this lake a lot, is just really how's it different now versus in the past?
It totally changed the landscape of the hydrilla, basically. It just pushed everything back. A lot of the deeper hydrilla is still there, but it's dying.
Oh,
so
okay.
the shallower, if you can find hydrilla in 8 or 9 foot, you can see that it's greener, it's fresher, it's getting more sunlight now. So
okay.
It's starting to grow a little bit. So there's a few fish that are located in that, but not a lot of schooling. Usually we find schools and packs of
sure.
fish, but it's scattered it out so much, and it's changed the defined lines and the points to the point to where it's actually scattered the fish out, so it's a lot harder to find.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a massive area.
Right.
That's been just totally. It's like taking a puzzle when you had all the lines you could see, and you just throwing it on the table and it breaking apart.
I got you.
So it's hard to find those lines again and find the better quality grass that those fish will be using.
I'm also a little curious just about water clarity. I mean, where we are here in the back of spring, it's pretty nice. Seminole's not exactly like the cleanest lake on the planet, but I've heard that has post-hurricane, a lot of the lake has been dirtied up. I assume that's because grass getting moved around. And
mainly the reason why the lake's dirty is because of the rainfall we've had. I mean, we've had just massive amounts of rain since November of last year. It hasn't quit raining.
It does like raining down.
It's kind of like being at Rayburn when it was 9 foot high. Everything that Rayburn got, we got too. So just in the past 3 or 4 weeks, we've actually had a break. We didn't get 3 or 4 inches a week. So we've seen the creek actually clear up. It's clear now, which is good. We had a bit of a rain the other night, which has kind of darkened some of the backwater ponds up a little bit.
Sure.
And the river's starting to get muddy from that rain too. But
gotcha.
The river kind of stays kind of dirty.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really affect those fish as much as it does in the creek. Now,
okay.
It does affect the fish in the creek.
Well, let's talk actual fishing now. If we go a week ago from where we are currently, it was nice. It was like, in the 80s or upper 70s. It was gorgeous. Of course, the tour rolls into town. It gets cold. In your mind, what's going on in the lake right now? Because I assumed beforehand we had some pre-spawn, spawning, and post-spawn fish. As of this week, where do we stand? We're still
in that same situation. We got fish that are wanting to bed. We're kind of an off moon, so there's fish that are on beds. Now today they did get knocked back.
Sure.
So I believe it's going to take someone who can adjust to that and figure out a way to catch those fish that aren't actually set up on a bed.
Okay.
And a lot of these, this lake is set up with a lot of old ponds that used to be here before the lake was built. So they're flooded now. So what you've got is a depression, what they call depressions, and a lot of the bedding areas that are there that they use, close by there's a 5 to 8 to 10 foot hole that they back off to, and that's kind of where their safety is whenever they get a cold front like this.
So really, come tournament time this week, we'll see. It wouldn't be surprising to hear guys talking about catching pre-spawn and post-spawn fish, or also probably catching some maybe on a bed, because it is supposed to kind of warm up, and those fish will slide up.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to see some fish caught on bed, especially the ones that can make it into the 3rd day. I think the first day of the tournament is going to be critical just to get past it.
Sure.
If you can somehow get through that first day, I think Friday and Saturday will be a lot better. You'll see better weights come in.
In your opinion, because with a lot of tour events, we have history on the lake. A lot of the field has history on the lake. Now, there are a lot of guys that do fish the southeast division of the Costa, so they've been to Seminole several times. But there's also kind of a lot of locally guys that are in the event this week. Do you foresee that having any advantage one way or another? Like, the guys who we think should do well, are they going to do well?
I don't know. It's hard to say because of the hurricane. It's changed so much. What I've had to do, I had to actually go back and fish this place as if I were 15, 16 years old. It's literally changed the landscape back to that's what, I'm not going to tell you how many years there. It was about 30 years ago. But yeah, I mean, I will tell you, I'm actually able to get into places I've never been able to get into. And I've caught some fish in them too. So it's kind of exciting for me and I had my dad in the boat with me practicing.
Yep.
So us telling stories about what happened when I was 15 or 16 years old is pretty cool too. So I've really enjoyed this week of practice I had.
Well, the final thing I want to throw at you is I want to hear some weights. I want to know what we're going to expect from Seminole this week. Is it going to be like one of them 20 pounds a day kind of thing?
You know, to win, I'm sure it's going to take that. You know, but as far as like to make like the third day, I still think it's going to take somewhere in the 28-pound range. So
okay.
So I feel like it will. Now with this cold front, it really knocked them back today. I was real surprised to see how bad that it did knock them back. But we do have a day off.
Yep.
So with that being said, we're going to be on the warming side of this deal when we start this competition.
Sure. Well, I like it, man. It sounds good. I'm excited to see what you guys can do out here this week, and I think it's going to be a real good one. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, we're rolling right along here on Seminole. We got Brandon McMillan joining us. You know, we mentioned earlier that there's a lot of like local guys that are fishing this event, or guys that have a lot of experience on this lake. I would throw you in that category because you won a Costa here in March. You also won an Open here, but I believe that was in the fall. Still, you got 2 wins on your belt on Seminole, so you're basically the foremost expert of all things that happen around here.
I don't know. It's been good to me over the years. I don't know why I seem to do well here. It doesn't really set up anything like I'm used to fishing back home.
Yeah.
You know, from Toho and Harris and stuff like that in Okeechobee. It's really a lot different. But you know, it kind of sets up more or less the same. You can catch them flipping most of the time. You know, pretty much any time in the year. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I used to spend a lot of summers up here when I was younger, and just come up here. Matter of fact, I used to stay right here at Big Jim's.
Oh, cool.
So this is kind of neat. Whenever I got tired of fishing back home, I'd just load up and come up here for 2 or 3 days and hang out.
Sure.
And, you know, get away from the house. But yeah, I've always enjoyed fishing up here.
Well, you know, we've heard, no doubt, things are a lot different now on Seminole than they, you know, have been the last several years. How has that changed your approach to the lake? Like, have you had to scrap everything and just start fresh, or are there still areas that have been good that are still good?
Man, it seems like most of the areas that are good are always good. You know, you just have to adjust and figure out, you know, how to catch them. But I mean, they live in the same places pretty much year round. At least in my experience, they do. You know, relatively for the most part speaking. But yeah, it's different this year. Like typically, I come up here and I like to sight fish and flip. And you know, we may not be in Florida right now, but it's pretty much a Florida, you know, type lake. And with this cold front coming in, the water temps dropped about 8 or 9 degrees since the first day of practice. So that's definitely slowed up the spawn. Yep. New ones aren't coming. You know, the ones that are still left around seem to be, you know, small buck bass. You know, so you think that that'd be all right, and you can catch them flipping. Problem is, there's very little, you know, good cover to flip. That's the thing. There's lots of hyacinths. I mean, you look around, you see hyacinths everywhere, but they're in about 6-8 inches of water.
Gotcha.
So it's definitely thrown me for a curveball. To be truthful with you, I really don't know how the tournament's going to go down. I would assume someone's going to win it out deep, kind of like Buddy Gross did, you know.
Oh yeah, at the Costa a couple years back.
A couple years ago. That's the way I would assume it's going to go down. But yeah, I don't know. I spent 3 days kind of doing what I normally do here, and I don't know. We'll go practice again on Thursday.
In your opinion on Seminole, I mean, is this a body of water that you can really, like come tournament day, maybe get on a pattern of some sort and like replicate that throughout the lake, or do you need like a zone that's real good and just kind of hunker in it?
You know, truthfully, it's what I was telling my brother last night. Like, I've done well here in the past, and I think I've fished probably 10 tournaments here, and like I said, I've had some good ones here. I don't know if I've actually weighed in a limit, but one tournament, the Southern Open that I won, it's the only tournament that I can remember that I actually caught 5 keepers every day that I was here. The Costa, I only had like 12 or 13 fish that I weighed in. Yep. So it's never, you know, so again, I don't really understand how I catch them here, you know. It's a different deal, but that it's just kind of a fun fact there for you that I don't typically get a lot of bites here. So finding an area and milling around is probably going to be key, but man, I don't know. It's kind of like a needle in a haystack this week. And Seminole's a great lake, but it's never been one where you just catch a lot of numbers, day in and day out. So it's not like Okeechobee where you get 30 or 20, 30 bites a day. But so yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, the guys are going to catch them. There's plenty of big ones here.
Absolutely.
They're going to catch them. They're going to catch them. They're going to show them to you Thursday. There's no doubt about it. But it'll be interesting to see whoever wins this actually how many fish they catch throughout the 4 days. How many bites they actually got. I'd be kind of curious to see that.
Well, I guess the final thing I want to know, we also mentioned this a lot, but there's, it was warm here for a while, and it was like the rest of the country, it had been cold for quite some time, so fish spawned. This week, it's cold currently. It's supposed to just progressively kind of keep warming up. Do you think we will see some fish caught off of bed or that are spawning this week, or it'll be mostly a pre and post spawn thing?
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of empty beds, even the first day of practice.
Okay.
There was a lot of empty beds. So I can't. I'd say maybe 40 or 50% of the fish have kind of already done it. That's just my guess. So there's still half the group of fish out there that are still pre-spawn. But definitely with it warming up, I mean, they're ready to go. They're itching to do it. The ones that still want to do it, they're going to do it. But probably Saturday and Sunday, sun stays out. It's supposed to get warmer.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be better. You have less guys on the lake too. That always helps. I mean, this place doesn't really show out with a ton of boat pressure.
Sure.
And I don't know why it's huge. I mean, it's a gigantic pond.
A lot of places to go find a bass.
There is. I mean, you can, So I don't know. It's gonna be a tough one, But like I said, there's plenty of big ones, and there'll be some really, really good sacks caught on Thursday.
I'm getting a Rayburn-y kind of vibe where we hear a lot of kind of about practice, and then Thursday you'll be like, oh dang, wow, okay, I didn't see that coming. 25 pounds, 26 pounds, stuff like that. Big weights.
Yeah, there'll be some good ones. I mean,
biggest bag weight in this week, what is it?
26.
Ooh, I can dig that.
26. I'd say 26. Someone will have 26 Thursday.
Winning weight?
Probably around 75, 78 pounds, I'd say. I mean, this place has got them. I mean, I love coming up here. It's got them, and you don't have to get that many bites. You only got to catch 5 a day.
That's true. That's true.
So,
and it's still Florida-y in that there's a 7-8 pound bite can bring you a long ways up in the standings.
Absolutely. And there's tons of those 2 to 3 pound buck bass that are around and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's just not a place where you're just gonna throttle them and catch 50 or 60 a day.
Right.
But again, you just got to catch 5, and there'll be some good ones. So that's why 75, maybe 80 pounds. But
I like it.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be good.
Well, Brandon's calling for fireworks on FLW Live this weekend, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. I'll let you go get some dinner now. You're currently in flip-flops because you were a casualty of Seminole. You hit a stump and fell in.
I did.
So you got changed. Now you're good to go. Hopefully you got that out of your system. You don't do it anymore.
This place will get you in a heartbeat. I broke a rod. I fell in. Luckily, it was only 5 foot deep. Thought I was drowning, but I wasn't. I stood up and I was fine. So it was good. But yes, I am definitely ready to go get a steak and sit by the fire because my toes are frostbite.
We will let you go do that, sir. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank
Good
you.
luck this week, man.